Well, hello everybody and happy summer. I'm going to share with you a cute little card that I made today with the supremely awesome stamp set from Stampin' Up. For those of you that are new, my name is Chris and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Worthington, Minnesota. Join me as we make a card. If you feel so inclined to comment, please do that below. Let me get things turned around here and we'll get started. All right. Flip that camera. There's my big giant hand. All right. Okay. So I'm going to be using the Supremely Awesome stamp set today. I'm going to be using the chef and the pizza and the little set of utensils. I'm going to show you two versions of this card. One of them uses the sentiment, "You've got a pizza, my heart," which I think would be a great anniversary card or a birthday card for your spouse or loved one. I'm going to also show you a version made with the circle sayings sentiment, "Because you're awesome," and then we're going to put "Happy Birthday" on the inside. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to be using Memento black ink because I'm going to be coloring with the blends. I'll set those aside. I'm going to be using the backs of this adorable zoo paper. I hate to not use these cute little characters, but I wanted the black and white. So, all right, so let's start with stamping. We'll set everything else to the side. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the chef. Because this is a larger stamp, I like to bring the ink to the stamp rather than the traditional way of turning the rubber stamp over. Also, because this guy has black shoes, black hair, and a black mustache, I want to make sure that I get that nice and black. If I wasn't going to color him, I would actually use StazOn ink to stamp him because that gets blacker, but we're going to color him, so I need to use my Memento. Gentle push, and there we go. All right, that's the first thing I'm going to stamp. The second thing I'm going to stamp is this smaller slice of pizza, and I'm going to do it on the end of this strip of white paper. Okay, next I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. This is a retired tool from Stampin' Up, but I'm still using it. I'm going to be using this checkered stamp, and because I want it really black, again, I am gonna use the Stamparatus so I can stamp it several times. I know where my image is going to be because I've already stamped it lightly on here. I'm going to be fussy cutting this, and so it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. If it needed to be perfectly straight, I would use a little different technique. So again, I am bringing my ink, put my ink to the stamp. Gonna look it over a little bit and make sure it's pretty black. And I'm gonna use this handy, whoops, my magnet's in the way. I don't think that that's gonna matter because we're doing this more than once. So let me slide that over. The magnet keeps your paper in place. And do you see how in the center it's not super black? I want it really black. So I'm going to go ahead And it's not even going to surprise me if I have to do this 2 or 3 times to get it nice and black. Now I could have done the same thing on the chef and used the Stamparatus to get his hair and his feet blacker. The other thing you can do is take your black blend or your black marker and color his hair a little blacker if you want. There's just a little spot in the center there that I want to. There must be a little bit of a low spot in the stamp. That happens, but all right, that's pretty good. So try to keep your magnets from sticking together. All right, we're going to set this aside because we're done with that. All right, so I've got my chef, my pizza, and my checkered, hi Tori, checkered strip stamped. Set those aside. Next, I'm going to bring in my mini stamp cut and emboss machine. I'm going to cut 2 circles, a smaller and a larger. I am using the large die is from Stylish, Stylish, let me get the name of that. It is from the Stylish Shapes dies. The smaller die is a retired one, and it comes from Stitch Shapes. You may have punches that will have a nice nesting size, or you may have some dies that nest really well. These were the 2 that I found worked the best. All right, I don't need the red one yet, but I do need to stamp on the white one. So like I said, I'm going to be making this one using a stamp from Circle Sayings, Because You're Awesome. Notice that these are clear stamps, and the first one that I was using is a red rubber. There's 2 different types of stamps that you can that you'll find at the Stampin' Up! Company, both for different purposes. All right, you are awesome. I'm going to set that aside because that's all I need on that. All right, let's return to this strip. I'm going to close my ink so I don't get a mess with that. I want this strip to be red and black. I'm bringing in my blend and I'm using the brush end. Again, I'm going to fussy cut this so I don't have to be super careful about staying in the line. My other side is a little better ink. So I'm just going to color the whole thing. I'm not blending anything on this feature. I'm just coloring it in. I want it to be nice and red. So I think I need to be bringing in a different red marker. Much better. They do get used, so don't be afraid to replace them when you have to. By the way, while I'm coloring, I'll talk a little bit about, today is the last day of the month, and so if you still have any of that designer series paper on your wish list and you want it for a 15% off discount, today is the last day for that discount. If you are a demo, that also includes your own demo discount, so you can double dip there. That new red marker definitely looks nicer than the old one. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and color this slice of pizza. What I have found is that you can color the whole thing, the cheese color, if you're using, this one's Daffodil Delight, light Daffodil Delight. And then I can come in with my accent colors and go right over it. Oh my gosh, you guys, it saves so much time from when I was first time around coloring around each of these little pizza ingredients. So this one is going to have pepperoni. I'm using Real Red again. The other color I've been using for the pepperoni is Calypso Coral or even Copper Clay. I'm going to use light crumb cake, dark crumb cake. Either one works for the crust. Okay, so today's the last day for that Designer Series paper sale. It's also the last day to sign up to be a demo or to get the starter kit. The starter kit is an amazing deal. When I signed up to be a demo, the starter kit was $300. Today is the last day to sign up, and oh my gosh, I'm just having a brain fog right now, but I want to say it's $155, and you get to pick whatever you want to go into the starter kit. So if you want all stamps, you can get all stamps. If you want to get cardstock and envelopes, you can get cardstock and envelopes. If you want just a whole bunch of adhesives, you can get a whole bunch of adhesives. You can get whatever you want. And today only, for that $155, you can get over $200 of whatever supplies you want. Now, again, I'm having a little bit of a brain fog, so don't quote me on those prices. I will post a quick link below this video and the actual prices. But you get, I think it's like $45 free this month, ending today. All right. The other thing I found on coloring my pizzas is that it's best to do all the light colors first, like do the yellow and then the gray. I'm doing his face with an ivory blend. I'm going to try to do a little bit of blending here, but for the most part, this guy today is just getting colored with markers. So the part that I want the darkest is over here. Apparently I can't talk and color at the same time. So that's the part that I want a little darker. Hi, Terry. And now I'm going to color the whole rest of it with the same blend. Again, do you see that I'm just going over his mustache? I'm even going over his hair because it kind of hides some of those tiny imperfections from where the stamp is a little bit lighter. All right, did I say this already? That's an ivory blend for his skin. And that's all I'm going to color on him for today. I could make his uniform have some flair to it, but I'm not going to color anymore. So let's just stop for that. Now, I'm going to cut this, and I'm going to leave kind of a fat border around the edge. This would be, I would say, the way, if you don't enjoy fussy cutting, you're going to want to leave a little bit of a fatter border on your chef. I don't mind fussy cutting, but when I show you the other sample of the card that I did, you'll see that I cut almost right on the black line so that there was no white border. My style really is to have a white border, and it really is usually a little bit thinner than this one. But I just wanted to show you, again, I have so many of you all that don't enjoy fussy cutting like I do. So it just doesn't have to be as fussy as you sometimes see me do. So I would say the fatter that you leave the white part, the easier it is to do. I'm also going to cut straight through here to get out this little middle piece. Probably the trickiest part because his head wants to get in the way. There. Okay. Lastly, I need to trim these. And I'm going to use this whole piece. So I want to make sure that I get off anywhere where I went out of the line. And this one you are going to cut right on the line. I'm going to show you a trick here when I'm done to hide this tiny little bit of white that is showing. Because sometimes you just can't cut it close enough to get rid of that. So hang on here and I will show you how I'm gonna fix that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a black marker, black blend, and I'm gonna take the brush end and I'm just gonna gently drag that along. Do you see how there was some kind of a white edge showing? If I drag this along the edge gently, it hides that. Without having to cut any more off. I feel like when I pause just to color, there should be like elevator music that pops up. If I was very good at editing, I would do that. I don't really do the editing part. I'm just more wing it as I go here. All right, lastly, let's cut the slice of pizza. And again, I'm going to kind of keep it uniform with that chunky white border. And we're just about ready to assemble. Okay, so I've got my chef, my pizza, and my border. All right, this card is almost identical to one that I saw on Facebook, and I will also try to tag the person that inspired me. So I have a standard card base. This is half of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, scored at 5.5. I'm going to use my liquid glue to assemble the whole thing. All right, and some dimensionals. So let's start from the bottom up. This one feels almost empty. I may need to grab another glue. When you're using the liquid mono adhesive, you just need a thin layer around the outside. This is probably my go-to glue. And that one's empty. Live TV. All right, never fear. I've got about 4 of these going at any time. To get it started, I usually have to just kind of peel off that part that has dried on there. Oh my goodness, I'm having bad luck on glue here. This never happens to me. Let's try bottle number 2, 3. You do have a little bit of time before this, there we go, before this dries. And that's the nice thing that I like about the liquid glue. It also has a little bit of time for you to get your pieces nice and square. Okay, layer 2. is this nice zigzag piece. So does everybody have fun plans for the 4th of July weekend? We don't have any plans yet, and I am just fine with that. This piece is going in the center. My husband's going to be on vacation for the next week, and again, we don't have any plans. We're going to try to find a couple little day trips to take, but we're going to wing it. All right, next I'm going to put on this checkered strip. Everything is flat so far. And this goes from top to bottom, nice and straight. All right, next I want those circles that I cut. So I'm going to glue the white sentiment on top of the red background piece, and then I'm going to pull in my dimensionals. And my absolute favorite tool, the pick tool. So I want this to be, actually no, I want this flat. I'm going to have this flat and not popped up, but I'm going to definitely pop him up. All right, these are some dimensionals that are left from a paper pumpkin kit. And for whatever reason, in the paper pumpkin kits, the dimensionals are a little bit fatter than the ones that we typically get from the catalog. So he's going to be popped up a little bit higher than normal. This is way more dimensionals than I needed, but it was my favorite way to use the pick tool to pick off all of these tabs. All right, so I'm gonna kind of play with these two pieces at the same time. I want this over here, I think. Remember, it's liquid glue, so I have a little time to play with it. And I think I'll land him right on this bottom line here. I don't want to cover that, and I don't want his arm off the edge of the paper. I think that's pretty good. And then the last thing I have is this little slice of pizza. And for this one, I'm just going to use my traditional dimensionals, one mini and one full. And we're going to just put this down here in the corner. We're almost done. So this is, it's kind of an impressive card, I guess, but doesn't take a whole lot of time to do. All right, let's finish up the inside. So because you're awesome, this one is going to say happy birthday on the inside. Be fun to put a, you know what, I haven't used this stamp yet. And so when it's brand new, I like to stamp it just on a piece of scratch paper first, because sometimes it can look a little dotted, a little pixely when it's brand new. And so I like to practice first. All right, looks like it's good. This would be fun to put a pizza gift card in, or a coupon for a night out for pizza. And because we haven't used these yet, let's go ahead and put those. All right, this is going on the inside. Let's find the right one here. Oh my goodness. Try number 3. There we go. And again, these are, this paper's not really going anywhere, and so you don't need a ton of glue. When I'm in school, I say to the kids, dot, dot, not a lot. And I think that that's always a good rule to live by. The last thing that you always want to do is stamp your image, your name, or sign the back. And there you go. Thanks, Tori. Isn't he cute? I love the pizza guy. Yeah, I've been having a ton of fun. I'm having a pizza-themed retreat, and so I've been having a ton of fun making pizza cards. One of the cards that I made was inspired by Terry, who's watching right now. So thanks, Terry. I'll maybe be showing that one on one of my next videos. So here's the card we just made. Because you're awesome. Happy birthday. Here is the other version using the sentiment from the stamp set. You've got a pizza, my heart. And inside this one, I would probably put happy anniversary or thanks for the gift. I mean, this could be a thank you. So, oh, the other thing I was going to point out. So this is the one we just made with kind of the chunky border. I would say probably the easier way to fussy cut. This one I trimmed right up to the edge. Definitely takes more time to do. So whatever your style is of fussy cutting, I don't mind fussy cutting, but I will say it's always faster, especially if you're mass producing, to do that chunky edge. Notice how I've blended so he has a little bit of a shadow under his chin. That's the beauty of those blends that we have. All right, so here's the set that I used. Supremely awesome. I used the greeting from Circle Sayings. I used a variety of blends. Dark pumpkin pie, light smoky slate, dark crumb cake, light daffodil delight, dark real red, and ivory. I also used mono liquid adhesive glue, several bottles, and I used dimensionals, and I used some dies. If you're using dies, you'll need a cutter. I lost the term. You'll need the mini cut and boss machine or some other die cutting machine. And I also used the Stamparatus. So if you're interested in any of the supplies to make this card, please let me know. And have a great 4th of July. See you soon.